Welcome to this episode of The Essence of Leadership. Today we have Ricontta Hills with us, and she has such an amazing journey to share, and I can't wait to get into it. But before we do that, let me give you a little bit of insight by sharing some tidbits from her bio. Ricontta has been a registered nurse for 20 years. Then one day she decided, I don't want to do bedside manner any longer. I want to explore entrepreneurship. And in 2017, she took the leap. At that time, she took what was a vision and began to put it on paper. And on April 2nd of 2022, the vision came to light and the grand opening of her business, Gentle Hands of Integrity, happened. So without further ado, Ricontta, thank you so much for giving us some time today.
Thank you, Demetra. Thank you for having me today. I'm excited to speak with you.
Awesome, awesome. So I won't delay any longer. I know people want to know, who is Ricontta Hills? What does she have to say? What value can she add to our team today? So I'll get right into it. Now, you said in your bio that you were a nurse for 20 years. What was that like, taking that leap? Because, the healthcare industry
Yeah.
is pretty stable. So what was that like to leave and start your own business?
Um, it was everything that I wanted. It was scary. It was new. Um, it was fresh. It
Mhm.
was a chance for me to spread my wings, and it was a chance for me to help people on the opposite side of the bed. I have been a bedside nurse for 20 years. And
Wow.
so this time I'm teaching how to be at the bedside. So I am still giving back just in a different way. And it's simply amazing. It's amazing.
And it's interesting that you speak of how you switch roles, right? But you
Yeah.
still are in the nursing field. I want to point out to you that switch in itself is, I mean, well, first of all, let me congratulate you on that,
Thank
because
you.
you pivoted from I can do nursing this way to let me expand how I'm reaching people with my nursing. So that speaks volumes to how you feel about serving people who are, maybe, I guess it would be sick or challenged at a certain time in their life.
Yes, yes. And please, let me just take you back a little bit.
Okay.
20 years ago, when I became a nurse, I was about 25 years old.
Okay.
So before then, I was still in the medical field. So that's primarily everything that I've been and I know is to care for people.
Right.
So the stages that I'm helping people grow in are the
Mhm.
exact same stages that I've been in myself.
Right.
So I'm able to improve on the process that was kind of rocky for me, especially as a new nurse, being young, black. um, at that time in the early 2000s, it was a handful of us, but it wasn't as many as it is at this time.
Right.
So it feels so good to help young girls, women starting over, men who want to change careers. It is a huge deal for me to give back to those people.
I bet it is.
Yeah.
And I always say that it takes a special person to be a nurse, because the bedside manner that you should have, okay, as I say, should have,
Right.
it takes a lot when people are sometimes experiencing their worst days.
Yes. And that's what I teach. I let them know to begin with. I kind of walk them through like a day in the life of an elderly person who's just been diagnosed with something like a stroke and how their life instantly changed. And we are the people, the front line that's there when they're going through this process. So I teach that so they can have some compassion when they're caring for people.
Right, right. Which leads me to my question now. See, you already starting before I can ask the question. Okay, so when you think about your transition to being where you are, what advice would you give someone who's navigating, like, organizational change or change within their own careers? Because you've done it, and you've been successful at it. What would you say to them?
I would say the very first thing is to solidify and conquer knowing your craft.
Mhm.
Know how to navigate the things that you want to teach
Right,
because it's layers to it,
right,
right? So what happens is if you are not concrete and you don't have the full understanding, when those challenging moments come in, you're going to be at a halt because you don't know what to do to get those people through those changes. So I would say just make sure the foundation is there. Before I took the leap of faith becoming an entrepreneur, I took classes through SBA,
right,
so I wanted to learn about entrepreneurship because I was so used to being at the bedside, and now
right,
I'm going into like this boss role, right? To
right, right,
where I'm a leader, in which it was a different role. Even though I had the skill, I had to match the skill with being an entrepreneur, and I'm still learning. However, I'm glad I took the advantage of learning how to be an entrepreneur so I can help those people and navigate through running a business as well. If
right. And you hit the nail on the head. It is very different from being an employee to being an entrepreneur. It takes a different mindset, a different way of pretty
Yes,
much approaching your day, the risk taking, right? All of those things show up when you make that shift, into
yes.
how do you continuously evolve as a leader, Riconta, with all of this change happening right now?
Two very important things. One, I make sure I have a mentor. I make sure I have someone I can call, other entrepreneurs who are willing to help me through those processes, to talk me through the steps to help me through that. And another thing is I just try my best to make sure I maintain um, mm, a foundation, a solid foundation where I can build off of. But the main thing is having that mentor, someone to call, someone to talk you through, to make sure you're taking the proper steps. And sometimes it's only like a 2-minute call,
Right,
but that 2 minutes is very necessary sometimes because you get stuck sometimes and
right.
you need that person to kind of bounce off of. And it makes it so great when you have that. So I think that's one of the best things that I did before I kind of leaped out. I had a mentor and she helped me through the process at the beginning.
Awesome. And that speaks to the importance of, in my opinion, professional development, the
Mhm.
mentoring, the coaching, all of that is
Yes.
imperative when you're making those changes, anywhere in your life. And I mean, yeah, I know we're talking, professionally, but
Yes.
you're making changes like that to have that person to, bounce those ideas off, to challenge the way you think and when your limiting beliefs show up. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and I know, you and I were talking prior to the recording. I know I do that every day, especially now with all of the uncertainty. There's so many people that are feeling challenged, and they're like, "This is the way I've always done it." Okay,
Mhm.
well, that way is not an option anymore. So,
Yes.
what are we going to do? And that speaks to you continuing to evolve and change, which is so imperative for your business to continue to scale. So, thank you for being transparent on that.
Oh, no problem. And another big thing is I can speak directly to that with the changes here in our leadership. The funding has been effective for education. And so I had to pivot. And I've seen a great change in just the little time that he's been in office. And I had to do exactly what you said. But the good thing for me is that I'm 3 years in, so I'm so used to change
Right,
that I kind of just hop right into it. I'm like, okay. But it
right,
did affect me. It did
right.
affect me. Seeing the freeze in the education, the grants, the sponsorships, it affected the vocational center. So I had to figure out a different way to gain a different audience or engage with people different to keep the doors open.
right? Which speaks to, I'm telling you, I think you got my questions over there. The next question I was going to ask you was, how do you go about fostering resilience, right? With all, that was a big setback. That was how you were, getting clients and people who may not be able to afford it, right? We're
Yes.
getting these grants and they could come in and get jobs. So what did you do to reposition, yourself and to get yourself mentally prepared to make that change?
First thing I did is I sat with my mentor, had a conversation. Then I did something that most people don't do. I sat with other school owners.
Okay.
And we collaborated and we thought of things to try to make our schools function because we all have separate schools, all separate vision, but we're still in the same community. So we sat together and we came up with ideas. We brainstormed on how to keep those doors open. So I decided, hey, at this time, like, guess what? It's tax season. So I have to go in that direction or I have to figure out a different way of payment. So I came up with a different type of payment plan. So I just attacked different areas that were still open and it worked. It
Right.
absolutely worked. I did giveaways, probably more than I did before because I always still want to give back. So I
Right.
still wanted to give something back. So I said, well, let me give a couple seats away. Because people still should be able to gain knowledge, even though they have a freeze in the sponsorships and
Right.
government funding. So Gentle Hands of Integrity put a couple seats out and we're like, okay, this is our scholarship back to the community because we still want to give back. So that worked as well.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Now that was it. I'm telling you, the way you changed so quickly, right? And I was going to ask you about mentorship and coaching and all of that, but you're speaking to how it has been so instrumental in you getting to, to where you are right now and being able to build at such a level and impact the community the way you are. And I'm excited that you see the value, and I say that because when I've spoken to several leaders of Ricontta, they are like, oh, I did this. And I don't know any successful leader that did not have a coach or mentor, or they are constantly investing in some type of professional development.
Yes. I stay involved in organizations in my area. I put it in my budget to make sure I join at least two organizations a year. So I pick the organizations I want to join so I can have the support that's needed.
Right,
So that really helps because sometimes it's just a phone call.
right,
Demetra, and sometimes you just need an inspiration because, like I said, I'm like, look, I'm ready to quit.
right,
I'm ready
right,
to just I'm just ready to put away the books and grab my scrubs and just go. And every time that happened, God opened up another door and was like, no, this is what I want you to do. And
right,
so I have to adhere to what he says. So it was like another door open, another door. So still here. The first quarter wasn't so good. I'm gonna
right,
be very transparent with you with all the changes. And the thing was I was transparent with my students as well. They would call and they would ask like, well, I've been told I'm on a waiting list and it's a 3-month waiting list. And I'm like, the funding has froze. Like it's frozen. It's nothing I can do about it at this time. But if you want to join like I'm doing like a raffle, and if you want to join that, I'm giving away a seat. So that's the best that I can do. I can't give away all the seats, but I can give away, maybe one or two. We can do it that way. So I try to figure out ways to make it work for everybody.
right.
Um, then on top of that, I had a huge change in staffing. So with that being said, it still worked. It still works. So I changed a few things for now with the staffing until that situation situated, and then we're just moving forward, just going full speed ahead.
it speaks to, in my opinion, how much you've invested in yourself, right? You've taken those classes through the SBA. You're consistently under mentors and coaches. You're consistently investing in yourself. And I've mentors have told me that the practice fight is typically harder than the actual, situation when it arises. So it allows us to be able to pivot because we've been practicing, right? You didn't
Yes.
just wake up one day and was like, "Oh, I'm about to navigate this storm." You were already practicing having these conversations with people who have insight that they could share with you.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Conversation. Um, up at I really I took my chances because a lot of days, I don't know about you, I'm up like at 4 or 5 in the morning, and then I'll shoot someone a text like, "Hey," and they're like, "I'm up." I'm like, "Great, you up too?" So let's talk. Let's text talk, and get
Right.
this, because I feel like, I need someone at this time, and I feel like I'm the only one up, and I'm the only one working hard. And then I send a "hey" text out, and someone responds like, "I'm up." I'm like, great. It
Right.
feels so good. It's refreshing to know like you are not alone in this fight. And that's what gets me through the everyday. That's what gets me through the everyday struggle of
Right.
being an entrepreneur. And I love it. I love it.
Well, which I'm going to ask you, what is the why, right? What is the why behind Gentle Hands? And I say that because it could be a bigger cause. You're giving away seats. You're still trying to impact the community when your business has been hit with, changes from the government, right? So what is it that makes you get up every day, get up at 4 o'clock? That takes some discipline.
Um, Quick story. I was raised by a divorcee single mom
Okay.
who raised the kids. And I'm the baby and the only girl. So I was raised like very responsible. So
Mhm.
I went to CNA school when I was 18. I went to CNA school. It was an okay experience.
Mhm.
I took the same type of course that I have now. I completed the course, but when I left, I was completely lost. I wasn't told how to take the state examination. I wasn't informed on where I can work. I was just clueless. It was kind of like it was the same place that I started. So
Mhm.
when I left there as this 18-year-old, I was just clueless. So I didn't know what to do. So I did not use it right away.
Mhm.
Um, a couple years later, my cousin fell ill. And it was quick. She was like 21 at the time, and she fell ill. And she ended up passing away. And I was like, I want to go back to nursing school. I want to do this. So that's how I ended up back in nursing school. I was always in school, but I was like, this time I want to be a nurse because I want to help people. There's two type of people that I'm very passionate about. People who want to start over or want to change, or who need a jump start and just don't know what to do or where to go. That's that little 18-year-old inside of me. I want to help that person.
Mhm.
And then a second part is the person that you care about and you love. And sometimes you can't do absolutely nothing about, but be at the bedside, even though that person may pass away. That's the best you can do, is give them the best care you possibly can give. So that is my why. I just simply like to help people, people who are at the beginning, who just don't know, have no clue of where to start, and people that is making all the way to they're making their transition at the end of life, and they just need someone to hold their hand. So just helping is my why.
Awesome. Okay, I can see that. That is not my skill set. That's why we need people like you, Ricontta. Okay. I show up, I can do the leadership development, I can do all this other stuff, I can help you with the processes, but sick people, I revert that to the experts like yourself.
I love it. I just love helping people. Like, um, it's it's so gratifying. It's very, because you have to realize that's when people have no choice but to be vulnerable. They
Right.
have no choice but trust someone that's going to care for them. So like I said, I'm training people all the way to the transition of life. I've seen that person, and I just thank God they allowed me to care for them.
Right,
They wanted me there. They
right.
wanted me to be a part of it. And that's how I feel about my students. Like, I feel really good that they choose me, and the reason why they choose Gentle Hands of Integrity, and the reason why they recommend me. They like, we just simply love you. I'm like, okay. And these girls come in, or gentlemen, they come in, they tell their stories, and you'll be simply amazed what these people go through, and what they plan on doing to get through.
Right.
I just feel compelled to help them. I don't know. It's just like I just want to help. That's it.
Yeah, you're a true nurse. You're a true nurse. So let me ask you this. What is the biggest leadership lesson you've learned since you stepped out on the entrepreneurship path, so to speak?
The biggest.
Hmm.
Hmm. Um, Probably um finances.
Yeah.
I'm good at telling people what to do. I'm great at delegating. No problem there. I tell people what to do so gracefully. Like, that's
Right.
not a problem. But I would say learning how to do the finances, learning how to make sure that you're paying your taxes, that you are balancing the books, that you are paying yourself and paying your staff, that you are not um crossing over funds from personal to business. Like, I think that's the biggest thing that I had to learn um, along the way. Huge.
Right. And
Still learning.
yeah, I was gonna say for me, I know it's been 4 years, right? I left corporate America in 2021,
Mhm.
and I just made my 4 year mark in March. So
Congratulations.
thank you. And congrats for you too. Like,
Thank you.
I mean, this is what, April 15th, and you did this April 2nd. So I get it, right? We're learning. And I think, you saying this, and I'm actually agreeing with you that bookkeeping was not our expertise, right? Payroll was not our expertise. And it takes, whether we look at it this way or not, but it takes a community of people to help you be successful. And whether you're entrepreneurship or you're in a leadership role on your job, you have to build a community around you to help you do the things that you're not skilled at.
Yes. And I'm still building that community. Um, I'm still learning how to
Hmm.
surround myself by certain professionals,
Hmm.
how to align myself, put myself in certain rooms.
Hmm.
Um, all those things are very, very crucial. And to believe it or not, social media,
Yeah.
that is huge. Like, it's just as big as like a physical community. Having a social media community, though, that support there really, really makes a difference.
Right. Right. No, you're absolutely right. So as we get close to wrapping up, I got two more questions for you because you speak so highly of your students, like your face lights up when you talk. So what is it that you do when they come in, right? They're feeling defeated. What is it that you do to continue to inspire them and motivate them? You can fight another day.
Um, First, I let them know they're in a safe place. That is part of my orientation, to let them know this is a safe environment. You are safe here. You're safe to be who you are. You're safe to share. I'm very blessed to be in a building. It's like a community center almost, where there's lots of resources. So I offer them resources that kind of let the guard down.
Right.
Um, so they can come to me if they need those resources. Um, but something so simple as telling them you can do it. I believe in you.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, that's all they want to hear is that someone believes in them. I'm like, you got this, you can do it.
Right.
And they like, okay. And most of these people have they come on transit. And the weather is not always permitted for bus, but they get there. They have barrier as far as babysitting. I had domestic violence issues where it took place just as she was walking in the building. So I gave those people resources. I had someone who she was homeless, and a quick story again. It was a choice of her leaving class because she was getting put out of her hotel room. Her kids were, or stay and completing the course. And she chose to stay and complete the course. She said, I can't leave. She was like, if I leave, that defeats the purpose of me coming. And to hear those stories for her to come back, she passed the state board, she bought her a house, and it just keeps me going. Like I love to see it. I had a student come and visit me last week. She bought her a car. She's like, it's my first car account. I remember I was catching a bus here, and it's all because of you. And I love it. I love it. I love it. They like, let me do something for me. I'm like, you have done enough. This is exactly what I wanted. I want it for you. That's really my heart. I just want to make sure you are doing okay, because I was that girl. I was the girl on the bus. I was the girl who had to take care of home.
Right.
So it was like, I understand your pain and I know where you're trying to go. And I just want to make that journey a little more softer. I can't fix everything at home, but I just want to make it a little more softer for you, because that's what we need. That's what we need inside our community. We need someone who just believes in us. And that's all I want. That's it.
Awesome. Now, my last question, you kind of answered a little bit of it, but I'm put it out there.
Okay.
When you think about measuring success, now I know we have the numbers, right? We got our KPIs. How do you measure success in your life right now, personally and professionally?
Oh, personally, it would just be my family, my son and my husband and my mom. Um, I believe they're all so super supportive. To see my son who's 17, he wants to be an entrepreneur, and he's asking me questions. He wants me to be involved. So personally, that makes me feel good. He sees what I'm doing. He sees the support. And then he wants to do the same way. Actually, he was an entrepreneur first. I kind of follow his footsteps. So that makes me feel good personally. Money wise, I'm not the type that needs like to be a multi-billionaire.
Right.
As long as I'm comfortable, that's success to me. I can retire.
Right.
I can retire and live a good life and travel. That's personally. Far as professionally, um, just changing those people's lives,
Mhm.
giving them the hope that they can do it. Hearing the stories when they come back. I had just another student come and told me he finished nursing school and he's going to be a nurse practitioner. And he's like, it's all because of you, Ricontta. And I'm like, that's amazing to me. I love it. I love it. I just love the non-ending stories. And my students, they see, like, it seems like my students come back every class because they see the other students come back. So they said, we're coming back to visit you too. And we coming back to visit you too. So they keep coming back, and I let them talk to the other students, by the way. So I let them speak to other students, and they encourage them, and they say, you can do it, and look at me. And I start off, and I just want that to be infectious in our community. I want it to be okay to help brown and black kids. Like, it's okay. We need that support in our community. And I just want to give it back. That's it.
Wow. Okay, now before we wrap up, let me just make sure the audience understands you were the person that was on the bus. You were the CNA that did not get the help or the support from the school and all of the I'll say investments you made at 18, which was probably very significant being at that age. and then you were like, something traumatic happened in your life with a family member. You go back and you said, I want to be a nurse. Fast forward 20 years later, you're running a CNA school, empowering people to do the very same thing that you did.
Yes.
With all of these amazing stories and testimonies to speak to your
And
passion.
an 87 percentile state pass.
That is awesome. Okay. So, Riconta, could you tell the audience how they can find out more information? It may be somebody out here who wants to learn more about gentle hands.
Yes. Actually, you can look at our website, Gentle Hands of Integrity. We are located at 2470 Collingwood Street. That's in Detroit, Michigan. We're inside the Derpy Innovation Society. We have training programs for that person who wants to change their career quickly, who need that support, who's probably not ready to start college but want to do something like a jump start, or if they want to make it a career, it can be a career as well. I also provide the services of if the nurses want to start a school themselves, I can help with that process. So I can get you started at starting your own training center as well. So if that's something that they want, that's a opportunity as well to work with me.
Awesome. So you guys have heard an amazing story. Rakanta, thank you so much for sharing with the audience today. I really appreciate you. And again, you guys,
Thank you.
you're welcome. If you guys have any questions about Gentle Hands of Integrity, definitely go check it out. Again, it's an amazing program. You've heard the story, you've seen her heart and passion for helping people. So again, Rakanta, thank you. I look forward to staying connected, and I am privileged and honored that you chose to be a part of the Essence of Leadership series. So
Oh, thank you, Demetra. There's no other place I would rather be, and God bless you. You're doing an amazing job.
thank you.
You're welcome.